we're real.
This is proof.
All right. I know you're all busy. Thank you much. Definitely appreciate it. Shane, change your shift is amazing. So, in the words of Del the Funky Homo Sapien in the seminal work, if you must, you got to brush your teeth if you must, or else you'll get funky. Think back to how many people throughout your life you were told to brush your teeth. You had your parents on you all the time, brush your teeth. You had your dentist on you, brush your teeth. They always talked about gingivitis. They talked about your teeth rotting out of your head. Don't eat too much candy and all that. That was the start of it. That's only a small portion of what can actually happen. At this point, you might be asking yourself, why am I listening to this guy? Why is he here? Why is he talking to me? Well, going through this program, I have had over 20 years experience in varying levels of the medical field. So that gives me some leeway to talk about this, plus all the research. So today I'm going to tell you how poor dental hygiene can lead to cardiovascular disease. It can degrade your brain, and it can also give you pericarditis. So, arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease is characterized by plaque buildup. That plaque has to come from somewhere, and it can even come from your mouth. As your plaque builds up, if you don't get rid of it and you don't brush, it can travel in your bloodstream and it can end up in your heart. As you take a look here, as you can see, all roads lead to inflammation. So what's going to happen is that plaque buildup is going to attach to the walls of the heart, the walls of your arteries. It's going to build up, and over time it can cause a myocardial infarction, and that can lead to cardiovascular disease as well as a host of other issues. A hallmark of gingivitis is that there's a biofilm associated with it, and that biofilm makes it real sticky, and it'll attach to the walls because of how sticky it is. Certain bacteria in the mouth, such as Streptococcus sanguis, which is just fun to say, can increase platelet production and increase platelet aggregation, which would go ahead and also increase the likelihood of having that buildup of plaque and having that buildup of further issues. So while we're talking about the heart, we're going to talk about pericarditis. So pericarditis is the inflammation of the sac that is around the heart, the pericardium. What can happen is very similar to what can happen to cardiovascular disease. You get these bacterial infections that will enter your system, and they'll go ahead and cause inflammation. They'll cause that further issue. It'll irritate the lining. They'll irritate the sac, and that's what will cause the inflammation. They've actually started using antibiotics to try to prophylactically treat and prevent prior to oral surgery. And unfortunately, you think it might be 80-90% effective. It's only been about 50% effective, but that 50% effective is still something that we're going to take. In his 2013 paper, Antibiotic Prophylactics in Dental Surgery, Hollingshead and Bruzel discussed the antibiotics, and one of the main antibiotics they use is amoxicillin. Another main issue that can be affecting is your overall brain health. Poor oral care can lead to poor brain health. An ischemic stroke is what happens when you have an interruption of blood flow within the brain. And as you can see here, you'll have a slight representation of what can happen with the area of the penumbra where the site of blockage goes ahead and it increases the issue and it increases the ischemic area around it. So it's not just that one spot that has a lack of blood flow, it's going to be more than that. Per the American Heart Association, studies have shown that poor dental health can actually increase the risk of stroke. And according to the American Heart Association in the article, poor oral health may contribute to brain declines. By Renardo de Havillon et al., they have shown that those who are predisposed to cavities are actually going to be predisposed to a higher likelihood of having a stroke or a cardiovascular accident. Those with genetically poor oral health have increased damage to the architecture of the brain and the microvasculature thereof. 43% change on damage can be seen by MRI. So as we have discussed here today, poor oral health can lead to different health issues. We've talked about the need for good oral care to prevent cardiovascular disease, pericarditis, as well as keeping your brain nice and healthy. Thank you for your time.
Yay!
That first
Oh, yeah.
slide.
Brian.
Look, everybody's still here.
Applause generated by AI.
Thank you.
Yeah.